Welcome to our video on graphing linear equations using a table. Not always is using a table the quickest way to graph a linear equation, but it is a method in which you can graph a linear equation. So I wanted to show you that method, and we can go from there. We're going to show you the other methods also in future videos, so that way you can see which way you like best. And I want to see if I can slide this out of the way a little bit. Okay. All right, so when you graph the equation, first off, you got to start with some points that you want x to be. I typically always like to, maybe we could go 0, 1, and 2, and -1, -2. Maybe we could choose those 5. You could have chosen 5 different ones. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Could have chosen those ones. Let's just go ahead and stick with those ones since those are the ones that I have up. So for the first situation, if x is 0, so y plus 3 will equal 5 times 0. And y plus 3, what's 5 times 0? 0. All we do is substitute 0 in for x and solve for y. And you know that in order to get y by itself, we subtract 3 from both sides of the equation, and y equals -3. And so if 0 equals x, -3 will equal y. If we go to plot that, remember we always start at the origin. So from the origin, we will go left and right 0, and down 1, 2, 3. And that is the ordered pair that we just calculated, 0, -3. All right, now if x is 1, if x is 1, what's y going to equal? Well, we substitute 1 in there, and y plus 3 is equal to 5. We will subtract 3 from both sides. Y is equal to 2. Y is equal to 2. So from the origin, we go we go right to +1, and then we go up 2. And let's look at another one. If we're going to let x be 2, y plus 3 is equal to 5 times 2. So y plus 3 is equal to 10. And then we subtract 3 from both sides. So y is equal to 7. And in order to plot that point, you start at the origin. You go to the right 2, because x is 2, y is 7. To the right 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up. There we go. That's better. And it looks like if I go ahead and let x be equal to 3, it's going to go off the graph. I probably could do -1. Probably could go -1. I understand it doesn't go in the order. -1 doesn't come after 2, but we're just substituting n for x to find the value of y. So when we substitute -1 in for x, we get y plus 3 equals -5. You subtract 3 from both sides. Y then is -8. And you start at the origin, you go left 1 and down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you draw a straight line through there. And that's how you graph a line using a table. So this is one example. Maybe you try the next example on your own if you got the handle on it. If you don't have the handle on it, just go ahead and watch what I do, and then um, try to figure it out. Let me see here. All right, so let's let our first one be 0, and then we'll go 1 and 2, and we'll see if we're going off the graph at that point. So the first one, x equals 0, and you notice x equals 0, we choose the values under x. If you wanted to, you could have chosen the values for y and then found x. They would come out the same. Either way is fine. But in the way I'm doing it, we're going to let x equals 0, and 2 times 0 is 0. So I'm going to cross it off and imagine that it's 0. Y would equal -4. Let's let x equal 1. So that would be 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 minus 4 is -2. So 1, if x is 1, y is -2. And then let's let x equal 2. So we plug 2 in there for x. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. Let's go ahead and plot these 3 points real quick. The first one, 0, -4, that means you go left or right, 0, and then you go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The second one, 1, -2, to the right 1, down 2. And then the third one, 2, 0, to the right 2. And I think from here we could probably get a pretty straight line. And this one here, if you feel confident in doing this on your own, I would prefer that you do it on your own. And then check to make sure that the points that you choose match mine, or your line matches mine. What values do you want to choose for x? I'm going to choose -1, 0, 1, and 2. So 3 times -1 plus 2 times y is equal to 7. So then this is what we get when we multiply 3 times -1. We get -3. Add 3 to both sides. So that means 2y is equal to 10. And then you'll divide by 2. Y is equal to 5. Now for the second one, x equals 0. 3 times 0 plus 2y is equal to 7. And 3 times 0 is just 0. So I'm going to go ahead and cross that out, because I don't need 0 plus 2y, because it's just 2y. And then we'll divide by 2 on each side. Y is equal to 7/2. And now if x is equal to 1, 3 times 1 is 3. And then we drop everything else down and solve for y. Seven minus 3 is 4. Don't forget you have to subtract 3. And divide by 2. Y is equal to 2. And real quick, if x is equal to 2, what's y equal to? So 3 times 2 is 6. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. So 2y is equal to 1. Divide by 2 on both sides. Y is equal to 1/2. And so you notice we have some fractions here, and we can graph fractions. So let's go ahead and get our graphing done. The first point is -1/5. That means we go to the left 1 and up 5 for your first point. The second one is 0 and 7/2. Well, 7/2 is as a decimal is going to be 3.5, so that's 3.5. So it means left and right 0, and then up 3.5. 1, 2, 3. Here's 3, and 3.5 is between 3 and 4. And third point, 1, 2, go to the right 1 and up 2. And the fourth point, 2 and 1/2, to the right 2 and up 1/2. And that's what we have. Go ahead and draw your straight line. If you're having trouble drawing straight lines, maybe you want to use a ruler or the edge of a book. That'll help you draw a straight line. The next two examples, we have special cases here. These ones, this one says x equals 4. You have to recognize when you see x equals 4, it's a special looking line. X is always equal to 4. So you would put 4 in every single one of these, in every single part of that table. Now, what's y going to equal? Well, it doesn't say anything about y in the equation. There's nothing about y, so it doesn't matter what y is equal to. Y can be -6, y can be -2, it can be 0. It can even be positive numbers, 1 or 5. And I think once you see this graph, you'll understand why the value of y doesn't matter, because let's go ahead and graph this. The first point, 4, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your point. The second point, 4, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 2. 1, 2. The third point is 4, 0. You go to the right 4. The fourth point is 4, 1, so that means to the right 4 and up 1. And then the last point is 4, 5, to the right 4 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what do you notice about these points? These points they form a straight line, but they form the straight line in which the equation is x equals 4. And once we connect those points and keep going on in both directions, putting arrows on the ends means that the line extends forever in each direction. Let's pick a point. Let's pick, let me get a color you can see. Let's pick that point right there. What is that ordered pair? Well, we know we went to the right 4 to get there. And how far down? 10. What do you notice about the x value here? The x value is 4. And it doesn't matter. Every point that you choose on here, the x value will always be 4. And I know I'm picking those points, but we can also pick halves, or we could pick quarters, or we could pick thirds. All of these ordered pairs have an x value that is 4. So vertical lines, there's something you should memorize, you should remember. Vertical lines, the equation, equations for vertical lines are x equals something. Anytime you see an equation that says x is equal to something, you're going to get a vertical line. And basically, you get a vertical line that crosses at whatever it tells you. And in our case, x equals 4. The vertical line crosses crosses the x-axis at 4. And let's look at the next situation. The next situation is y is equal to -6. Well, it doesn't say anything about x in this equation. It only says y is -6. Y is -6. And all the values of y are -6. And therefore, it doesn't matter which values you choose for x, because y will be -6. Let's go ahead and plot those points. The first point is 5, -6. To the right 5 and down 6. Second point is -4, -6. Left 4 and down 6. Third point is 0, -6. That means you just go down 6 from the origin. The fourth point, -8, -6. That means left 8 and down 6. And of course, the last one is 10, -6. So here's x equals 10, and you go down 6. What kind of line is this forming? Well, this one is not forming a vertical line, but it is forming a horizontal line. And it's forming a horizontal line that crosses the y-axis at -6. And so that should be some sort of indication when you see this equation, y equals -6. Anytime you have a y equals, it's going to be horizontal, and it will cross at whatever value is given. So, equations for horizontal lines. Equations for horizontal lines are y equals something. So you should also have that memorized. That's all we have for graphing linear equations tabularly. It's just creating a table to find the points to draw your line. I will see you in the next video. Let me know if you have any questions.